What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is down slightly, 1.3%, 938 the low, 1028 the high, and very low volume. Then again, it's not just Opendoor, it's pretty much a broader market that's getting lower volume, but 137.1 million shares being traded, 377 is the average. No macro data points today, so it is just largely speculation, digesting exactly what has happened recently. And in Opendoor's case, they didn't put out any official news, although they did post this. So it was a 8K, just going over how they are switching up some of their management team. So they do have this new individual, Christy, as the new CFO. Definitely been around Opendoor quite a lot. So various different positions. Of course, the old CFO there, it doesn't really explain why they left, but this is going to be done technically transitioning September the 30th. Old CFO is done effective today. So clearly shows more of a firing, but nonetheless, compensation is going to be 1.2 million, and I believe roughly around 400,000 in RSUs. So in general, that's good, but I feel like this also brought to light how Opendoor doesn't really have a lot of kind of executives. So they do need to hire quite a lot. But in my opinion, this isn't a real reason to buy Opendoor nor sell. It's just more of a good FYI. Aside from that, though, the reason why Opendoor I think is going a little bit lower today is just because generally of lower volume. And this is something that I did kind of signal as well in my video yesterday. And I posted on my Patreon. On a side note, I put out daily day trades. Even for Opendoor, I did signal that it is a buy at 950, and it did have a low today of 938. So it bounced off of that general area. So it's kind of moving towards my target. So even more reason, as I've kind of expressed in older videos, to pop over to the Patreon and take a look. But at the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 963,000 shares. 23.57% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 157.22 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average still staying relatively low. So that's 5.72 days. And just utilization on a side note is 85.6. Interestingly enough, you do see a lot of individuals starting to talk more and more about Opendoor. So I feel like there's opportunity for it to really surge higher. Although based on a lot of the options, you're kind of seeing a little bit more hesitation. So for instance, right now, 39 million in calls, 8.9 million in puts, 48% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. This one right here, 3.7 million between 9:55 and 10. And if we kind of look at it and orient it based on the premiums, it was a multi-leg transaction, and it looks as though primarily it was bearish. So there was 1.53 million in premiums with a 1050 call being sold. Although again, multi-leg, it does look like there was a 1050 call that was purchased, all for this and next week. So whoever bought this right here, based on the timestamp, all of this was one transaction. So like I said, multi-leg, but it does look like the 1050 call was for today. And so I don't know why they essentially did that. Maybe they are assuming a full breakout is going to occur. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that, from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 10 to 1050. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 9. So definitely a lot of volatility is anticipated. With today being Friday, just take note of this. So we do have 104,000 in open interest at that $10 strike price, 66,000 at that 1050, 53,000 at 11, 36,000 at the 950, and then 39,000 at the 9. So let's say Opendoor does get close to one of these strike prices in the second half of today, you might see shorts wake up a little bit just to try to suppress it, because both shorts and market makers have a financial interest in having most of this expire worthless. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So somewhat mixed in reality. So a lot of pockets of selling, couple buys based on the flow. You do see a little bit more activity coming from algorithmic trading. So I think they're making up for a good chunk of today's volume. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. So it goes to show big money is definitely playing it. Of course, with shorts being a little bit more active, they could be also using a lot of the dark pool. So these are all the transactions occurring on that. At the time of doing this video, there hasn't been any new analyst ratings. So still 7 days ago, 9 days ago. So analysts still don't really care about it all that much. Maybe their next upcoming earnings possibly might prompt some new ratings, maybe. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. But right now with a 973, trading between this S1 and this S2, so 963 followed by 936 is going to be the following support levels. Bounced off of this general area of this S3, so we do know going forward, this is a very strong support. Flip side, 980, 1007 and then 1033 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. So for those of you that are wanting to day trade or possibly buy the dip or dollar cost average, just orient a lot of your buys around these, in my opinion, but you guys do whatever floats your boat. Aside from all of that fun stuff, quickly moving over here, things are looking pretty a-okay. So it is still above the 10-day moving average, so momentum still is there. In comparison to yesterday, still same kind of levels of selling, so the walls are still there. A little bit more buyers. You can kind of see compare and contrast between the both. As far as the flow, like I said, algorithmic trading is a little bit more active today based on the smaller transactions right here. No real news coming out at all. Just a lot of regurgitation of kind of older news, nothing really new information. So I think we're back at the wanting a good catalyst. And this is something I've mentioned in the past with Opendoor, is that with it being a kind of a momentum stock, and of course it's kind of a hybrid, a lot of different reasons, but I think for face value, it is a very big momentum stock. You need constant updates and you need a lot of capital to keep on getting in. If not, you are going to see these kind of pushes lower. So at the end of the day, yes, you're going to see more continued volatility, but this same setup is very eerily similar to what happened in this. So kind of last week of August when it was flirting at that 450 and then it just decided to break out. So I wouldn't really count Opendoor down and out just yet. I think it's still going through a little bit more of a consolidation phase, but nonetheless, I do feel like higher highs are going to be coming. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Where do you realistically see things going from here? Do you think that we're going to be seeing 52-week and all-time highs, or do you think it's going to really consolidate? So what's your general thoughts? Hopefully everyone has an amazing weekend. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.